A few to Vishal sir. We have Vishal sir, who is the Dean of BML Munjal University School of Management, and he has been a faculty with London School of Economics and Henley Business School, and also PhD from Manchester Business School. So I think sir is the best person to give us a fair idea about what kind of opportunities should one look forward from Indian as well as global perspective in the stream of management and BBA. So welcome on board, sir.
Thank you. Thanks very much. So very happy to be a part of this event, and whatever information, insight, knowledge I have, I'm happy to share it. This is obviously a an uncertain time for a lot of people with COVID, post-COVID, and career choices. So I'm happy to help in whichever way I can. Thank you.
Lovely. So that's really great. So first question that coming on my mind for all of us is, what kind of career opportunities can we look after BBA? Like, you've used to hearing what is engineering, what is BCom. BBA is something which has been a very upcoming. So what kind of career options can one see after doing a BBA?
So many career options as far as post BBA is concerned. Look, BBA has become, over the last few years, has become a course in its own right. It has become a course which enables career opportunities to open up for those who are looking at jobs, for those who are looking at getting into organizations, corporates, consulting firms. It becomes a very viable option to even get back into your family business, right? So if people have family businesses, or if they would like to get into family businesses, that also becomes a viable option. And at the same time, a good BBA degree also prepares you for further studies. So whether it is an MBA program you're looking at, whether it is to travel abroad, or whether it is anything else that you would like to do. So in the last few years, the BBA program has become more diversified, has become more widespread, has been able to incorporate a lot of different kind of specializations. So you get BBA regular program. For example, in our case, we offer not only a BBA regular, which means marketing, finance, HR, or whatever, but we offer a BBA in family business entrepreneurship. We offer a BBA in business analytics. We offer a BBA in digital marketing. And these are definitely very viable options for the students. The BBA degree is viewed by a lot of people now as a terminal degree, which means that it is not a transition degree, which means a lot of people at one time used to do a BBA because later on they wanted to do something else. BBA from a good institution has now become a serious degree, which enables a lot of careers. So if you ask me about specific careers, you could possibly get into finance and accountancy careers. You could work in banks. You could work in financial consultancies. You could work in investment banking options, equity research. You could get into general management kind of roles as well if you're doing a good BBA program with the right rigor, with the right kind of learning. You can get into operations, supply chain firms, logistics firms, the Zomatos of the world, the Swiggis of the world. A lot of these kinds of careers actually open up. You can get into product management, right? So you could get into product management for FMCG companies, for consumer durable companies. You can get into sales and retail. So you might get into organizations such as Reliance. You might get into Aditya Birla. You might get into a lot of fashion labels and fashion brands. Consultancy firms. Remember, a lot of consultancy firms are looking at young talent, undergraduate, qualified talent to come along. And BBA has now become a very viable and serious option for that. You could get into advertising, right? You could get into advertising. You can get into brand management. You could get into a digital marketing organization or digital marketing functions within large organizations. You can get into public relations. You can get into a lot of communication-based companies, right? You can get into human resources, right? A lot of people who are very aligned to this whole idea of, I would like to work with people. I engage myself in people matters. BBA, maybe with a specialization in human resource or certain minors in human resource, can enable that to happen. Similarly, you can get into media companies as well. So I think in the last few years, the BBA program has now become a very, very viable option to open up a lot of career opportunities for you.
So one thing which comes to my mind is where we look at that it's similar to what we do into a MBA also. So is it like if people who are aspiring for an MBA, they are half done with all of it in BBA? Is it like a mini MBA kind of a version?
Well, I wouldn't call it a mini MBA, but a good BBA program with a good learning background, with good understanding of the practicality as well as the theoretical, enables you to become career ready right from the beginning, right? So when I talk about BBA programs, when somebody is selecting a good BBA program, that particular person, should be able to understand what the curriculum is like, who's teaching, how many industry-focused faculty are coming into the classroom to be able to teach, right? How much exposure is there from an internship perspective? What's taught in the classroom? Is it practical? Is it experientially led? Is it relevant? Or is it essentially theoretical, wherein I'm being evaluated on some textbook and some concepts? Right. So it's important to understand that, yes, you might do a BBA, but quite frankly, you have to understand how the BBA is actually being delivered. Right. So, fundamentally speaking, if you are doing a BBA with the right level of rigor, with the right level of seriousness, with the right level of industry-led faculty coming into the classroom, experience, practically orientated, all these things will enable you to kickstart your career straight away. Right. So technically speaking, if a BBA program in some, section, maybe in some places, a lot of people think that the BBA is quite theoretical, and then when I do the MBA later on, that will then develop my practical side. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. The BBA by itself can merit, the status of being a standalone degree, right, which can enable the careers, right? And if that is the case, right, if you're doing a good, focused, practical BBA program, you don't have to necessarily straight away do an MBA program thereafter, right? You could possibly take a few years, you could possibly work for a few years, right? 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or whatever you feel like, and then maybe get onto the MBA program later on, let's say possibly abroad as well. Having said that, you have to be able to understand what kind of BBA program you're getting yourself into, right?
Right.
There might still be areas and avenues wherein the BBA program is largely theoretical, largely based around exams, largely based around concepts that are taught in the classroom and not necessarily practically oriented. You have to make that distinction.